Black Chicagoans over the weekend are highly upset about migrants who are flooding their community, giving them exactly what they voted for. Let's talk about it. All right. This is Keith. Welcome to the Ghetto Sapien channel, your home of inner city intelligence. So the black community in Chicago's a little upset with the Democrat Party because they're getting what they voted for, like I said earlier. It's not like the Democrat Party hid their love for open borders and called for a surge at the border itself. Weren't you paying attention? Biden said this a couple of times while he was on a campaign trail. He said it live and on camera at the primary. So I don't know why he's upset when he said stuff like this.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum.
See, you didn't hear that, people. You didn't hear this before he went to the polls that he was going to open the borders up. I mean, if you didn't hear that in America, they definitely heard it all around the world, not just Latin America, because we got people from China, Germany, we got Russians hitting the borders, Africans, Jamaicans. Everyone heard this. Somehow, the black people in Chicago kind of missed this. You got no excuse.
They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come. And by the way,
and he threw this little bit in too. In case you missed the whole surge at the border thing, he kind of already hinted, and again, this is before you went to the polls, Biden let you know how he felt about black people versus Hispanic people, and this was unsolicited. This just came out of his old bigoted head. It's not like the person interviewing him asked, hey, how do you feel about black people versus Hispanic people? Biden just volunteered this little nugget of info.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
And this one, that was Biden before he was elected. This is Biden soon after he was elected. He went before including Sharpton, a bunch of quote unquote black leaders, and really let them know what the deal was. This was recorded by The Intercept. It ran for like an hour and a half. It's on the internet. I cut out this particular fantastic part because we're talking about Hispanics and black people, but it's like an hour and a half, and see if you can find it on the internet. It is just, it's just really eye-opening to see how Biden really is and how he speaks to minorities behind the scenes, because this was not supposed to be recorded and shared with the world. It was supposed to be behind the scenes only. So this is sort of like a whistleblower leak, and just check it out for yourself. Just notice the attitude of once he's in power, how he speaks to black people.
The country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans.
It's doomed in part because of black people. That must be nice to hear.
But because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me?
You hear me? You sound like a cop telling you to get out of the car.
Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do in terms of raw numbers.
So y'all, I like how he throws that around. Throw y'all back in chains, or y'all going to have to work with the Hispanics. We're going to outnumber you. What do you have for the Hispanic community if, as Biden says, they're going to just vastly outnumber you? You're not going to be working with them. You're going to be working under them in that situation. I'm saying that's not going to be the case, but Biden has it presented as if it's going to be some mutual, something that's going to be mutually beneficial. He makes it sound like you're subservient to the majority white people. just get ready, black people. You're going to be subservient to the next majority group that's coming up after I've taken care of all my kids and got my China money. My grandkids are all hooked up. It doesn't matter if I'm in a minority anymore. My people are fine. But your people, you're screwed. You need to work with the larger Hispanic community. I mean, yeah, no one should be surprised by what's going on in Chicago now because, again, Biden denied it. You just had to pay attention. It seemed like the whole planet knew what was going on, what was going to happen at the border, but the black people in Chicago didn't know. And this is why they're upset like this.
It is insulting that you would consider such action about a forgotten community that none of you live in.
Developing tonight, outbursts and outrage at a community meeting in South Shore over a housing plan for migrants.
The debate comes as the city deals with the crisis of where to put migrants bussed in from the border.
Elizabeth Matthews is live now with more. Elizabeth.
Corey and Don, contentious to say the least. This forum was a chance for city leaders to get input from the public about the old South Shore High School housing migrants. The city got their input. A packed house at the South Shore International.
If you see in the back, it says build a wall. This looks like a Trump rally. That's how bad it's gotten. All it takes to get the crowd of black people to sound like a Trump rally is just a bunch of illegal immigrants who are coming in and it's just gonna, take advantage of all of the resources that the black community paid for out of their tax money. Maybe took it for granted. And again, it's starting to look like a Trump rally. I think it's hilarious.
National College Prep High School, the crowd voicing their opinion, strongly opposing the addition of migrants in their community.
I am just outraged. I'm outraged, and I don't understand why our community was chosen.
City representatives saying the old South Shore High School would not be a shelter, but one of 3 respite centers for the migrants to temporarily sleep, eat, and take a shower, starting with about 250 people taking up the building's first floor. This is a way for the city to get the current 300 migrants out of the police stations. Questions were asked, but answers hard to hear, interrupted by the upset crowd. Before the meeting, a small protest of South Shore neighbors demanding the energy put into the migrant issue be put into their neighborhoods.
It is a slap in the face that we as citizens of the United States of America do not have the resources and support, but you're going to bring people who are not citizens here in our community, in our buildings that we pay taxes for, that you took away from us.
She sounds like a serious patriot now. She's like Captain America. And that's how it is. Things you take for granted in this country, you start realizing the benefit of when some other person threatens them. So good for her. Hopefully she changes her voting habits because that had a little bit to do with her current situation. Hopefully she figured that part out.
That is completely unacceptable. We are in a humanitarian crisis right now. The black people in Chicago are bleeding on the streets.
Yeah, they're getting shot by other black people for the most part, but at least the other citizens, fellow citizens shooting each other.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson had this to say about the migrant crisis.
We have a responsibility to make sure that families who are seeking...
He looks terrified. This does not look like a leader to me. He looks like he's more frightened, like he's about to get hit with a shoe or a bullet right now. I think if you just popped blew up a paper bag and popped it behind him, he'd probably crap his pants. But he just doesn't seem like he's going to be the alpha that Chicago's going to need to make its way through this crisis. But it's sort of a self-inflicted crisis.
Love and support here in the city of Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois, that they are not just welcome, but they are serviced.
So there you go, Chicagoans. The guy you voted for is, he looks like he's going to be welcoming the migrants in because he's got his marching orders, man. He doesn't, black people, look, you voted for this in Chicago. your only power you have at that is every 2 years or every 4 years, depending on the election, you can voice your opinion. You can voice whether you're happy with what's going on or you don't like what's going on. And that's it. Because there's no money. They're not looking to the black community for a whole bunch of money. And that's how politics is influenced big time. Or if you're giving them the impression that you're going to vote blue no matter who, this is what you're going to get. This guy's not, the new mayor doesn't look like he's going to be much of a help when it comes to controlling who's coming into your city and using up your resources. You're going to get a bunch of people who haven't put into the system. They're going to take out of the system and they're going to take off. But unfortunately, this is what you voted for. Hopefully, within the next 4 years, with this new mayor, you'll start correlating your vote with the results around you. But this is clearly an issue that wasn't happening just a few years ago when we actually had border safety. But you don't think what's going to happen in Texas or Arizona or New Mexico is going to affect you way up in Chicago, and here it is. You're being affected by it. All those executive orders that Biden gleefully signed away and reversed. This is what you're getting 2-3 years later. You're seeing the results of it. But hey, they say the border is secure. So you listen to Biden, the border is secure, or listen to what you can, to common sense and behold what you can see with your own eyes. It's not really secure. So, like I said, you get what you vote for. That's all I got to say. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I wish you guys in Chicago the best. Seriously.